shock, the nerve, the audacity.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Audacity Podcast. You know who it is. It's your boy, Marvin. I'm out here. And Gabe is back as usual. What up, Gabe?
What up? We needed to come back for an emergency session. Someone's got kids, but the kids don't get any attention tonight. We need to talk about Dame and a couple other topics.
It's important. It's big when it's just us two. Obviously, you can see Luke and Josh couldn't make it. Shout out to them. They're busy doing other stuff. But this right here, this is the season finale. We're going to take a little break until the NBA season starts. It's been good talking to y'all. Obviously, it's going to only be like a 2-3 week break, nothing crazy. But we're going to keep it going, keep wrapping it up. But I just want to bring up the whole Damian Lillard situation. I was at work during it. I got a text from one of my buddies, and I was highly disappointed. Why? Because, everybody thought Dame was going to go to Miami. And in my opinion, I would have rather him go to Miami because, of course, he would have been a threat. Miami is a great defensive team. I think they would have been the second best team in the East, obviously, behind the Boston Celtics. But right now, I think it's a serious debate on who the king of the East really is. The pickup that they got, of course, they lost Drew Holiday, but their starting lineup's looking serious. Their starting lineup's looking very, very serious. Right now, they're saying their projected starting lineup would be Lillard, Pat Connaughton. They say that Middleton would be their small forward, Giannis their power forward, and Brook Lopez their center, and that's a serious starting five. And honestly, their bench is looking good too. Their bench is looking very good. They got Portis coming off the bench. They got Jackson Jr. coming off the bench. They got Malik Beasley off the bench. They got Crowder off the bench. They got a serious squad, very deep team. And these guys were set champions beforehand. They beat the Suns, so Giannis does got one title under his belt. Dame is a winner. We know that he hasn't won the title. He's made it to the conference finals, but he's a winner. And I would say that this team is scary. You know me. I believe in the C's. I still got the C's winning in 7. I don't give a fuck. The C's winning in 7. I'll say that till I die. But this team is a scary team, and I think I got to bring it up. I got to bring up 2K right now. I think this will be the best 2K team since the Miami 2012-2013 team. Hands down. Gabe, what are your thoughts?
I don't know if they'd be as good as that team in 2K because that team was crazy. But regardless, in real life, this is the issue. Like the Bucks, I think they're the number one team right now. I think the East, they're officially that. I think this is the biggest trade since James Harden went to the Nets. Because when James Harden went to the Nets, they were immediately the favorites to win the championship. Of course, it didn't work out because he left. But I mean, even if James Harden would have stayed in the Nets that year, they actually probably would have been the favorites. They still may or may not would have won. But regardless, this team is the number one because the Bucks are so good defensively. And when a team is that good defensively, that's also why they've been so good. And Giannis has at times had nobody and still just taken over. When Middleton was hurt, taken over all the time. And it wasn't until now them losing to the Heat, which now everyone was just kind of discounting them. But it's like this team, I think had like a 19-game winning streak at one point towards the end of the year. Like you can't have a 19-game winning streak unless you have a very strong defense. They have Brook Lopez, which I think he was either the leader in blocks or I think he was second behind Jackson Jr. But arguably almost he was a defensive player of the year candidate. Then you have Giannis, who can basically be defensive player of the year every year because he can guard any position. He's ridiculously hard to score on. And then you had Drew Holiday, which, yes, you're losing a little bit on defense, but in my opinion, yeah, Drew Holiday is amazing, but Damian Lillard is a legitimate superstar. And Lillard has never played with a real superstar, and neither has Giannis. Like, yes, LaMarcus Aldridge was great at that time, but he wasn't a superstar, like a clear-cut, just, whoa, oh my goodness, top 10 player in the league, superstar. And same thing with Giannis. Like, Giannis was playing with Middleton, and Middleton at his best was a 23, 24-point game scorer. I do think that if Middleton is, and I don't think he will be, but if Middleton is in his prime, at his best, the way he was 2-3 years ago, that team is a serious problem. Because even then, like, Middleton was not a better scorer than Giannis, but a better, like, pure scorer than Giannis. Like, a better, so it was so hard to defend the Bucks when you have Giannis and then someone like Middleton who can close out games or who can just hit shots from anywhere. Like, it was a scary matchup, just them two. And Middleton is a number 3, number 4 on some teams. Like, the Middleton is Middleton, but he's not a superstar. He's not a number 1 option on really any team. And he basically was at times the number 1 option on the Bucks in many situations when Giannis got in foul trouble. So overall, they're a high quality team. I think it's different because the Celtics have a lot of firepower, but there's a lot of questions in terms of can the Celtics play together as a team. I had the same questions. I don't know because you have a lot of just random players like Porzingis and Tatum and Brown that have to develop, don't have the ball movement. Like Giannis is an established superstar with court vision, with defense, with no flaw in his game aside from shooting and free throws. Like he's a legitimate superstar, arguably the best player in the league. I would put him number 2 right behind Jokic. And then you have Damian Lillard. He's in the tail end of his prime. He scored the most points he's ever scored in his life last year. He had the highest field goal percentage of his life last year. Like he is a problem. Like this is in the NBA game is so well suited for Lillard's game. Like he is everything Giannis is not. Everything that people complain about Giannis, that's exactly what Dame Lillard is. A sniper from anywhere on the court, a mini Steph can shoot. Just shooting is just exactly what everyone says. So I think it'll be a good flow. Lillard can play with anybody. It's like anyone that's the foundation. Like Lillard can play with anyone. So yeah, I mean Lillard, Middleton. I mean even Malik Beasley. I mean Malik Beasley had a bad year last year when he went to the Lakers, but before that, this man can drop 20 points a game. He's coming off the bench. He's actually one of the. I think he was a top 5 shooter in the league from 3-pointer. Like in terms of 3-pointers made, that's crazy to just have that off your bench. So I mean, yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat specifically because of the defense and then having Giannis and Lillard. So yeah,
Yeah, I feel like they definitely fix all the weaknesses that they had. When it comes to how they played last year, I feel like obviously they underachieved. People didn't expect the first seed to go down to an 8 seed, even though the Miami Heat were obviously serious. They made it all the way to the finals, and I think they were probably the best 8 seed. Probably the best. They might have been the best 8 seed in NBA history. Honestly, like, I could really chop it up to them. I really think that they were that good. The gain of Dame Lillard is just like you said. Dame is everything that Giannis isn't. You know what I'm saying? And that's great. Literally, Dame's gonna bring it from the outside. Dame's gonna handle the ball, take some pressure off of Giannis. That's gonna be one of the best 1-2 punches that we've seen in a while. And the thing is, we all know Dame is not the greatest defender, but they're gonna be able to disguise that because that whole team plays great team defense. You know what I mean? So because they have that going for themselves, I think they're gonna obviously be able to compete with anybody. And I wouldn't be shocked, and like I'm gonna predict this is not like a oh my goodness thing. I think that you'll see Vegas will side with them because Vegas always goes for the most hype team. Vegas is
they
going to
did. I saw it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yo, they are. You see, Vegas automatically. Oh, yo, they're gonna win. You know what I mean? And it makes sense. It's the hype, and the hype that you have a chance. You could either live up to the hype or fall flat, and the pressure is on. The Bucks have never had pressure. They've never really been expected to win, even after they won the championship. People weren't saying, oh, you got to get one. Now Dame's living with the pressure. Dame's going to have to come correct because nobody expected him to win in Portland. You know what I mean? People were talking about him running away from the grind technically because no one had any expectations for him. But now that he's really on a team that you can really consider this team a super team. You can consider it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think it falls in that category because I think Middleton's an all-star, Dame's an all-star, and Giannis is an all-star. You got 3 all-star players. Once you get that, yeah, you could call yourself a super team. And they have the role players that are perfect because Lord knows Brook Lopez is going to be doing his thing because Brook Lopez has been fire on the inside and hitting threes like crazy. And Pat Connaughton is one of the great role players you can have because he does everything you need to, 3 and D. And that's all they really need. Get him in the corner, boom, pow. That is a solid team. Like I said, I keep bringing up the Celtics. I will say this with my chest. They put no fear in my heart. I'm just joking. Yeah, there's a little bit of fear. I'd be a madman if there wasn't some. I was a little annoyed. I was like, damn. But don't be surprised if they don't end up succeeding as much as people expect, because the most important thing that they really do have to grasp is chemistry. And Dame's playing style is it's an interesting playing style. You know what I mean? There's a reason why it's called Logo Lillard. That's not really the Bucks playing style. Yeah, he's going to integrate that, but let's see what's up. Will that work out? Is Giannis going to get enough touches? Is Dame going to get enough touches? Most importantly, is Middleton going to get enough touches? That's the big thing because they're going to have to incorporate all these guys in order for them to really be able to blossom and ball out. But right now, I would say in no particular order, but in no particular order, I would say Bucks, Nuggets, Celtics. I'm gonna toss them in there. I know some people are gonna say, I don't know. Heat, and I don't know who I would have as the fifth team. I'm gonna actually say, I know some people are gonna be like, I'm gonna say 76ers. I think those are the top five teams in the league. I think those teams are the teams to beat in the league. And I think the East is looking very strong right now. Very strong. Probably stronger than the West. Because you see, I think I named one West team. Only one. So
I
that's saying
mean,
a lot.
wow, like I didn't even think of like who's the best team in the West.
It's
Like,
Nuggets, but other than
I
the
mean,
Nuggets, it's tough.
sorry. After, I mean, so you didn't even mention Suns, which is interesting. They just got Nurkic in this trade, by the way.
Oh,
Which I
yeah.
think,
No, I'm
I think
sleeping on the Suns. But boot out the 76ers.
yeah, I wouldn't put the Heat in the top five. I mean, they lost Gabe Vincent. Not that Gabe Vincent is like, oh my goodness, but I still think that the Heat were a product of their environment. They were incredible last year, but they were not. They overperformed. I mean, and they deserved it. They did it. I think during the Celtics, they just deserved it, but during the Bucks, it wasn't a smooth way to win. But at the same time, that's the nature of the NBA. Look at Kawhi Leonard. Like when Kawhi Leonard won with Kyle Lowry, like it wasn't a smooth victory. That was the year that Kevin Durant was in the Warriors. He just happened to get hurt. So like things are never smooth. Don't get me wrong. So the Heat, I guess, do deserve it. But this year, I hate to be that guy as well to say it again and again every year. Even after the Heat do what they do and not put them in the top five, but I can't put the Heat in the top five. The thing with the Bucks is, yes, I think the Bucks at times. I mean, the Lillard at times takes bad shots. Like that's just a fact. And yeah, he shot 46.3%, which is really good for a guard. Like if you're a guard shooting over 45% with a high volume of shots, that's pretty good. But this is akin to Kobe and Shaq. Like Lillard and Giannis is akin to Kobe and Shaq. You put Giannis as a big man, which I mean, people consider him kind of like a big man slash because he's so fast and he's skinny and he's not like a bulk, but he really is a big man. And this is Kobe and Shaq. The difference is that I think in this era, it's harder to dominate. The other era was different because it was less 3-point shooting. But in this era, you can lose to an OKC Thunder randomly. You can lose to really any team because if a team gets hot from three, I mean, even when the Heat started their run, that first series against the Bucks, they were shooting like something like over 60% from three. It was ridiculous. Like I think it was Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. All these players were shooting ridiculous. Max Strus, all of them shooting ridiculous amounts from three. So like that's why it's hard to be as dominant as Kobe and Shaq were winning 3 championships. So like, are they going to be that dominant? I don't believe so. I do not believe they'll have the dominance of Kobe and Shaq, even if talent-wise they're basically almost there, honestly. And even they might be even better because, like, on paper, because then they don't just have role players. They have Chris Middleton, another top-tier scorer and all this. But Chris Middleton doesn't strike me as the type of guy who has an ego problem. I think he'll be okay being third, fourth fiddle at times. That's okay. I think it's okay if he's dropping 16 points a game. That he actually might even be more comfortable in that role, given that he's going to always have one-on-one opportunities. He will never be double-teamed ever again. He'll be double-teamed. And he's going to have space to work. He's coming off of injury that people have been saying he's been doing better. But I think it'll give him some space to just be what he can be and do his thing and be a maybe close to 50% shooter from the field and 40% three-point shooter, 90% field goal. Like, that's who Chris Middleton can be. Like, so if he can be that, and Chris Middleton is a perfect kind of like 6'6", 6'7" wing who could defend and score. Like this team is serious. So we'll see. I mean, they're in Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I mean, is a kind of like a dead city. Nobody wants to go to Milwaukee. It's cold. So it's kind of cool to see a small market town have this much talent. Look at James Harden and Joel Embiid. Like they're like people talk always about, hey, having like a superstar guard and a superstar big man, and the Bucks have that. And why didn't it work with Harden and Embiid? Because they weren't two-way players, both of them. Like this is their. Not that Lillard is a great defender, but I feel like he has that tenacity that he brings a team up in both ends. But anyways, I think the number one team. I love Boston, but yeah, I think I kind of got to bring them down to number 3. So I agree with your top 3, but I would say number 4 is the Suns. Nurkic is a plus, I think, versus Ayton just because of the attitude. Like Nurkic is kind of is slow, but I think he can play winning basketball. He played with Lillard for a long time, so I like Nurkic. And number 5, I might put the Lakers in there actually, which is crazy to think. I might put the Lakers as number 5. Like I think that Lakers, I kind of double back, but I do like the Lakers right now. So that's my top 5 right now.
Yeah. So the Lakers, I probably have they be in my top 10, but they'd be probably like 8 or something. But the only reason why, obviously, Braun is Braun. It all comes down to AD. It all depends on if AD is healthy. He's the one who's really going to carry them to the heights that they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? If he can perform, what is it? LeBron can perform. They will always have a fighting chance. But the way that Denver waxed that ass is like,
But they're
you know what I
different now, though.
mean?
They're the same team they used to be. Honestly, they have more experience and they have much more weapons now with all the additions they did.
I don't know, man. It's for everybody in the league is going to be tough to beat Denver. Top
Yes,
to bottom
agreed.
is going to be tough.
Agreed.
I say this, they're my favorite right now to make it back, even with the Suns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're my favorite to make it
100%.
back to the finals. But one thing that I do want to touch on before we get out, I do want to just have a talk about this. I want to talk about what ended up happening with Kevin Porter Jr. of the Houston Rockets. So currently, right now, the Houston Rockets are working to trade Kevin Porter Jr. in the wake of the charges of a felony assault and strangulation due to an attack on his girlfriend, Kaiser, and I'm gonna probably butcher her last name, but Kondrazik. She is a WNBA player. So this is a major thing that has just happened. A major thing that has happened because she is associated to the league and also because Kevin Porter has been in some trouble. He was actually traded from the Cavs because they were forced to give him up because he went in a disagreement with the team in itself. That's what landed him on the Rockets, and the Rockets had sent him over to the G League, and then he dominated in the G League, came back, and is probably, I would say, he had the second brightest future when it came to the Rockets. I think he was going to become a superstar or a star in the league. But after what he has just done, I think it's possible that his career could actually be over. I think there's a high possibility of that happening. I know him and Jalen Green, they were going to be the future, and they got Eamon Thomas, and they also got Fred VanVleet. So they could have even made some noise this year. But after what he just did, I don't think he's gonna get.
They were never going to make noise this year. They were never going to make noise this year.
I think they would have made. When I say they're going to make noise, I don't think they were going to make the playoffs. But I mean, like you know how OKC made some noise last year. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. You know, like a little bit of noise, just because I said, what is it? 3 years down the line, even now, even without him, I think like 3-4 years down the line, there's still a team to like watch for. You know what I mean? But him having all of this happen, it's tough. I did hear some reports that she said she's denying it, saying that nothing happened because it's the typical stuff. You know what I mean? When people get abused, they start, they fall in love with their abuser. It's the typical stuff. If you know like any type of psychology thing is very common. I was highly disappointed when I saw it. I wish the man well. I hope that he does get better. I hope that the NBA does give him some type of suspension because I think he does need to have a lesson on this. And he needs to watch himself because he may never get a job again. You know what I'm saying? But, like same thing happened with Bridges for the Hornets, and he's back. So I think it's a bigger deal because you're a WNBA woman. But go ahead, dude.
The crazy part about it is that even with what happened with Bridges, like I don't even remember exactly what happened because there wasn't as much noise behind it. It kind of just happened, and like it wasn't as big of a thing. Like this is much bigger. Maybe it was because of the WNBA thing. I don't know. But based on my understanding, I think he will never be in the NBA again. I think he will never play another game for the NBA. I think he will, like, not ever. It's sad, but I think that's gonna be the case. Even Stephen A. Smith is saying, and all these commentators are saying that already deciding before a verdict has been reached. But yeah, based on what I heard, like I don't think he's ever playing, which is sad. I mean, if he did what he did, I definitely would understand that.
Yeah.
Back to the Rockets. I just that comment kind of I can't let it go, Marvin. I think the Rockets were going to be bad for a very long time. Even with these, I don't believe in them. Even this additions, I've been saying it. Fred VanVleet is one of the most inefficient point guards in terms of shooting wise. He's a great point guard in terms of assist turnover ratio, controlling the game, doing that kind of thing. But he takes really bad shots over the last couple of years. He's not the same as he used to be in terms of like, because he's not supposed to have the ball in his hands shooting all the time. Like he should be a little more. He should be dropping like 16 points a game. He shouldn't be dropping 21 points a game. Like that's not what he should be doing at the NBA to play with in basketball. Then you got Dylan Brooks, one of the most inefficient offensive guards ever. I can't believe what he did to the United States, to Team USA. But anyways, in the real NBA, Dylan Brooks is not it offensively. And then you got two young dudes who, Jalen Green is I think he just has it. Kevin Porter could have, but I just don't believe in them Sengun. I mean, whatever. But regardless, yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad what happened with Kevin Porter. But yeah, Rockets have no future, in my opinion. Yeah, for a little while.
Don't go at my man Fred VanVleet like that. I disagree highly on that. I wouldn't say they don't have a future, but I respect your opinion because it wasn't looking good presently. But you know how it is. You suffer now, then you do good later. But it is what it is. But we touched base on a couple things. This is a shorter episode. Obviously, we don't have our other guys. So, but in about 2-3 weeks, we'll be back. The NBA season's coming, and I'm really, really excited. And we're gonna have a lot for you, a lot of good stuff for you. But yeah, you know the stuff. Like, share, subscribe. You know, it's the Audacity Podcast. It's Marvin out here. I'm out of here. Gabe, say your piece. What you got to say to the peoples?
Hey, listen, NBA is a beautiful thing. Love the game of basketball, and let's keep going.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for rocking with us. We love the fact that you mess with us, and we're going to keep giving you more content. All right. Peace out.